My name is Ana Murillo. I am a family and victim advocate at HICA, and today we're just going to learn about victims of crime services from a culturally specific lens. So our learning goals today, a little bit about HICA's history, HICA's Victim Assistance Program, which is a program where I work in the Strong Families Program, navigating community resources, and understanding challenges and approaches. So in the 1990s, the Latino population saw a big growth in Birmingham, and our founder and newly retired CEO, Isabel Rubio, who at the time was a social worker at UAB, saw that influx and wanted to know how to help the Latino community that was transitioning into this life, which was very unfamiliar. As a result, in 1999, HICA was created. It was created to address concerns relating to healthcare, access, education, economic development, social justice, and legal issues, and to provide outreach to the immigrant community. So HICA has 4 programs, and these are our programs. I work in the Strong Families Program. It is kind of the initial gateway into HICA and the other programs. In our program, we provide information, referrals, family advocacy, and victim assistance. That is mainly what we do. If we cannot provide a service, we will find a resource in the community that can help and assist. We do anything from assisting a family register their child in school if an interpreter has not been provided or they haven't signed up, they don't know how to navigate the educational system or a computer, to helping someone pay traffic tickets or set up a payment plan with a hospital if they were seen there. And then the majority of our work focuses on victim advocacy and assistance. The next program is Empowering Communities, and they work with the youth, education and career development. They assist students who are maybe DACA recipients and don't have access to maybe certain scholarships. So they try to find ways and encourage those young adults in high school that they can still go forward, they can still further their education. They also do a lot of empowering with, if someone is a permanent legal resident or a US citizen, registering them to vote. So that's a very important journey here in Alabama. Our next program is the Citizenship and Immigration Program. They do humanitarian visas, and we will talk about that a little bit later. That's a U visa. Services, they provide green card services, so renewals, DACA. Renewals right now, the US government is not accepting new applications, and naturalizations. So if you are a green card holder and you're eligible to naturalize, HICA can help you with that. Also, T visas and VAWA. So trafficking visas and VAWA, similar to a U visa, except it is if a crime has been committed by a legal permanent resident or a US citizen, and it is a much shorter process. Our next program is Community Economic Development. They provide financial coaching. HICA has recently become HUD certified, so they are also providing loans. We are a VITA site, which means we are a site that receives supervision from the IRS, and they can do taxes. We have a large community that comes for taxes for free, not just Hispanics or Latinos. And then small big businesses. HICA helps the community open small businesses, obtain ITIN numbers. That's a number assigned by the IRS when you do not have a social security number, so that you can open a business, purchase a home, and file your taxes. And we also have the Camino Loan Fund to help small businesses. We just did our largest loan a little less than a month ago of $50,000. If you guys want me to pause, if you have any questions at this time, please let me know. If you don't, we can definitely continue.
I think you're good, Anna. I just wanted to let people know. Sorry if I distracted you.
No, you're fine. No worries. Thank you.
Oh, actually, you do have a question. Awesome.
I do. So what are the qualifications for these programs? Really none. We see, well, we do help the Latino community, but there have been other, and you'll see as we go along, we have helped people. If you're an immigrant and you need, say, assistance with the immigration process, whether it's a humanitarian visa or you qualify for a green card or citizenship, HICA has assisted many countries, not just the Latino community or Hispanic people. So it does not matter. When it comes to victims, I've assisted someone from Pakistan because the court turned her away thinking, I don't understand her, she must speak Spanish. So we wouldn't turn anybody away just for that reason. But there are other resources for people that do want to, open a business and can speak the language. They don't have to go through us. But really nothing, there are no requirements. It just is a resource for the Hispanic Latino community in Alabama. I saw another question. Yes, the families can live absolutely anywhere in Alabama. I have, for example, victims of domestic violence that are in Huntsville that we have assisted with getting into shelter, obtaining an attorney through Legal Services Alabama for protection from abuse order or PFA. We've assisted, and you will see all the counties that we've assisted. Essentially, it's all of Alabama. If they do need to make an appointment, say for an immigration, which requires a lot of paperwork, that department will set the appointment to make sure that that trip is not in vain, that they bring everything that they need. So we understand travel is hard sometimes, but we can assist anybody anywhere in Alabama. And we'll move on to the next screen from here. So as you can see, all of the 29 different countries that we have served, this is for a variety of things, not just immigration purposes, but also if they are a domestic violence victim, or if they need a resource, if they need assistance with paying bills. And during COVID, HICA had a very limited small fund, but it lasted for almost 2 years. That ended in December. And we were able to help so many people, whether it was their light bill or they were sick with COVID, anything related to COVID, help pay their rent. And some people were helped multiple times when other resources were low in the community. We were able to provide these services for the community. We still get calls, and unfortunately we have to turn them down, provide them other services. But yes, we have served almost all counties and 29 different countries. So our program, the Strong Families Program, the Victim Assistance Program, we do many things. One of them is provide victim and court advocacy. And that can be anywhere from the beginning of the PFA process, filing it, to accompanying them to court, trying to either through our partnerships with the YWCA or Legal Services Alabama, depending what counties they fall in, try to assist them so that they can obtain legal services representation, and then go to all the court hearings just for emotional support if they have an attorney, and help facilitate that communication between the attorney and the client, not for the judge. We are specific in ensuring that they do receive proper interpreting services from court certified interpreters. So we also provide guidance through the criminal justice process. We have many criminal cases, not just, or they could be a PFA, but they can also be a criminal case. A lot of child sexual abuse. So we guide them through the process. We go through the criminal court. We provide that accompaniment, that support that our families need to help them navigate through the system. We have a domestic violence group, support group that lasts a month. We do about 4 cohorts a year, and we have just started a new parent-child sexual abuse support group that also lasts about 4 weeks, and they met every Friday at HICA. We, during COVID, saw an increase in child sexual abuse, so we thought, how can we navigate this and assist the parents who maybe don't understand what is going on, or they need an outlet as well. We are bilingual advocates, but we also have 2 memorandums of understanding with 2 bilingual counselors. So HICA can pay up to 12 sessions for them to receive counseling. If more is needed, that counselor will communicate to us, and then we can facilitate more if needed. Economic assistance, we have a very small fund. It's almost out for this grant period. But if a victim is fleeing violence and no longer can afford that light bill or part of rent, they can reach out to us. We submit it through admin, and then they pay that bill directly to that service provider or that landlord. And that helps facilitate them so that they can get back on their feet. It's not often that they ask for the help, but it is a small fund available for them. Like I said, we provide accompaniment to appointments related to cases. So I can go to our partner One Place, where HICA has an office there, and I'm here 3 days a week, but I can meet with the detectives or with the sheriff's office and provide accompaniment, assist the victim in filing that police report. We can go downtown to the SVU unit, where sometimes sorry, I lost my train of thought, where sometimes the interview takes place. Sometimes we have to go and assist them and file the warrants needed for those misdemeanor cases. So we do a lot of accompaniment, emotional support. We go to the child advocacy centers as well and provide accompaniment just to help our families navigate the system. We do a lot of case management. We assist with police reports. Many times there is not an interpreter available. So we will, go through that report, ask the victim, is this what they stated? If there needs to be a supplemental report or amend the report, we provide that as well. And language access advocacy is our main one. We're in a partnership with Asha Kiran, and so grateful for that. And we're always pushing, not just for our language access to be in Spanish, but in every language, because anybody that receives 1 federal penny must provide language access to that victim or to that client. I saw a question here. No, no question. Okay, so areas of service. We provide our main services are provided in Jefferson and Shelby County. Direct services, obviously it's close to where our office is in Homewood. We have the main office in Homewood. Like I said, I am at One Place 3 days a week. The One Place Family Justice Center that is in Jefferson County. And a lot of partner agencies here. It is an incredible place and a safe place for victims to come to. In Shelby County, we just partnered up with Community of Hope Health Clinic. And right now we are just doing appointments. So over the phone, and then they will see that person there. And it could be help me file a police report in Alabaster or Pelham, or I need resources my kids need Medicaid. And so our advocate there will do that appointment over the phone. They will come in and then provide the services. We have memorandums of understanding with Shelby County Courthouse, Jefferson Family Court, and the Bessemer Court, and Birmingham Municipal Court. So the Strong Families program data, just so that you are aware, since January through May, we assisted 1,056 individuals, providing them family advocacy services. So anywhere from traffic tickets, Medicaid, passport applications, name it, if you can think about it, and they don't know how to do it, we will try to assist them. 269 victims of crime, 242 of them were immigrants, refugees, and 227 of them were limited English proficient. So that means we have to step in and help them navigate the system. The majority of them do not speak English. The challenges that our community faces, transportation. One, we have to acknowledge that we do live in Alabama. So that's something that is not accessible to many people, not just the immigrant community. Language barriers. A lot of times there are no funds to provide those language barriers that should be provided. So it's hard to navigate the system, to go to the doctor, to make an appointment, to go to DHR, Department of Human Resources if you need to file for child support, or if you need a protection from abuse order. You know, it's already a hard document for any person that does read and write the language, let alone for someone who doesn't understand. A lot of our community is very undereducated as well. So we have to help them navigate that. Eligibility, are they eligible? You know, if you're not a green card holder or a US citizen, that limits a lot of the things that you can have access to. They don't know how to apply. You know, we have the Medicaid and Medicare workshop where they come, we teach them because we work on empowering, and the applications are in Spanish. So we teach them how to fill that out so that every time renewal comes around, they are able to do those things and fulfill that for their families. Our families are fear of deportation. They don't understand the police, the sheriff's office, ICE, Homeland Security, that they are different agencies. They're not all the same. They usually have partners that will tell them, if you call the police, they will deport you. So we work really hard on providing education for them, letting them know that if they are victims, they do have rights, and just navigating through the system. And public charge. The past administration implemented very difficult things for our community to navigate. So say your kids were born in the US and they were eligible for free lunch at school, and the parent applied for that for their kids. If in the future the parent would be eligible for some kind of immigration legal status, well, they would see that public charge, and so that could make them ineligible. So they're afraid of applying for those benefits that are granted to US citizens. So these are the things that our community sees as barriers. Navigating community resources. I won't go through it. If y'all can share the PowerPoint with all the participants, qualified immigrants, lawful permanent residents, and US citizens. If you're a refugee, asylee, and persons that have been granted withholding deportation or removal, conditional entries, Cuban Haitian entrants, battered spouses, domestic violence, children pending approval. So, and victims of trafficking. If anybody has been granted any of these visas or stays or provided a social security, then they're eligible for more community resources, not all. And we help them navigate through that, whether it's through our department or referring them to our immigration department. Non-qualified immigrants include all non-citizens. This is a new terminology. It was adopted in July of 2021. So we always encourage people, we say undocumented immigrants. We don't call people illegal. Human beings are not illegal. And now the new terminology is non-US citizens or non-citizens. Important to identify that. Even when I speak to people, they're like, no, I'm illegal. And I correct them and I tell them, don't call yourself that. You know, you're undocumented. That's different. Illegal is an act, not a person. So important to note that and keep that in mind when you talk to people from different places and walks of life. And the next two screens, you will see the overview of immigrant eligibility for federal programs, what they would qualify for. So we won't go through all of that. It is extensive. And you can see who would qualify for certain things, who doesn't qualify, and the eligibility for the immigrant community. Sorry, 3. So our immigration services, like I mentioned earlier, we do naturalization. So that is when you are eligible to become a citizen after you've been a green card holder. And there are many different ways, whether it was by marriage or you've been a green card holder for years and you haven't done anything about it and now you're eligible, or you've been the 5 years, you've held your LPR for 5 years. HICA does not charge for any of these services. HICA is DOJ certified from the Department of Justice. Someone have a question? Sorry. So the only thing where there can be charges is whatever USCIS requires you to pay. So if they are processing a U visa and you entered without due process or a visa or documents, then you have to ask for forgiveness. And I believe that charge would be $930 per person. And that's if you qualify. There are fee waivers that our immigration department can assist with. There are some programs that the consulates have that they can assist with that because it is quite the charge, but HICA itself does not charge the constituents it helps. DACA renewals, like we talked about, family petitions, green card renewals, humanitarian visas, which are the U visas and the VAWA. So the U visa is if a crime is committed in the US by another undocumented immigrant. And thank you, the waiver is $938. DACA is $545. And DACA just went back to renewing every 2 years. The past administration had done it so that every year they had to renew, which that increases obviously the cost. Thank you for that clarification, appreciate it. VAWA is if a crime was committed in the US, but by an LPR, a permanent legal resident, or a US citizen, and that is a much shorter process. In T visa, we have started doing human trafficking visas. Obviously, if you can prove and you've cooperated with law enforcement, usually Homeland Security is involved because they're the ones that decipher if you meet all of the criteria. And that's just another set of criteria that you have to meet to be eligible for a T visa. So why were all these things created? Humanitarian visas were created to help law enforcement get perpetrators of crimes. We don't like them from any walks of life, from any backgrounds. You know, if people are committing crimes, they should be punished. Research has shown that the immigrant community is less likely to report victimization. So for fear of police, fear of deportation, and language barriers. So this was kind of an incentive. Hey, there could be a benefit if, unfortunately, it's about a 15-year process right now. They accept 10,000 U visas or humanitarian visas every year. There's a backlog of, last I recall, about 165,000. So they're processing, I think, year 2013 and 2014. So it does take quite a bit of time. But we still try to encourage our participants that, you know, although 15 years from now may seem a long time, if you look back, 15 years can go by rather quick. T visas, temporary immigration benefit, granted to those who have assisted, like I mentioned, law enforcement investigations or prosecution in human trafficking cases. The crime must have been considered severe. Forms of trafficking, whether it's sex trafficking or labor trafficking. We have also seen an increase. I don't know, it's because there's more education, we are more aware of it, not just HEC as a whole, but Alabama as a state, law enforcement. But we have assisted, and I have quite a few victims that are trafficking victims. VAWA, this one was created, Violence Against Women Act, and provide victims of domestic violence by an immediate family member. It's a safe way for survivors of domestic violence to file for this petition and pursue it without that US citizen or legal permanent resident knowing. U non-immigrant visas, temporary visa allows the status of the victim of certain criminal activities, might give you the possibility of lawful permanent residency. So when you have a U visa that doesn't make you automatically a citizen or a resident, you have to have it for a certain amount of years, you have to renew. They do give you a Social Security that is labeled for work purposes only. You do get a work permit. And then if you become eligible for a legal permanent residency, you would have to hold that for a certain amount of time. And then you can become a US citizen. So it is a very long process. This is the most important, one of the most important things that is sent when all the documentation for your U visa is sent. And this is a law enforcement certification. The DA's office can sign it. A police officer can sign it. Many times they're reluctant to sign. We've encountered some departments that just struggle with it. This does not guarantee anybody that you are signing for them to become a citizen or a resident, or for that, doesn't guarantee the U visa either. This is just something stating that they have cooperated with law enforcement, whether the case is ongoing or it has ended. And then it's always up to the discretion of that USCIS agent after reviewing all of the documentation that has been submitted. Possess information is helpful. They must provide information of crime that was able to be provided detailed to law enforcement. They must be willing to come forward and give information. And if under 16, a parent can help the individual. So we have a lot of children, like I mentioned, that are child sexual assault victims. So that parent can petition either on behalf or as a secondary victim. So in the immigration department, they would be that first victim. They would be the one receiving the benefit if the child is a US citizen. But if not, that parent can also file on behalf of the child and for that family member as well. One of the benefits that does exist for victims of crime is the Alabama Crime Victim Compensation Commission. And people who can apply, people who are innocent, victims, criminally that received injuries, sustained personal injuries, next of kin if somebody does pass away, other requirements that must be met, victims of domestic violence, certified victims of human trafficking are considered to be undocumented non-citizens. So there's a lot of caveats and a lot of things that you have to qualify for before applying for this. This is all the information. If you have limited English proficiency, you have the right to a language assistance, and this language assistance will be provided to you free of charge, should be provided to you free of charge. And there is a Spanish application available, and the link is right there for it as well. So why is it important and why should we care on serving the immigrant victims of crime? We want to improve the quality of services and the outcomes. We want to eliminate long-standing disparities in services for people of diverse racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds. We're all still human beings, so we do have rights, especially victims of crime. Cultural influences assessment accuracy, and without knowing who we are serving, we cannot remove the barriers that are in the way, identify their needs, create effective opportunities, and promote safety and well-being. We want to encourage our families to file police reports, teach them and educate them that they do have rights. And just because you file a police report does not mean you're going to get deported, or the agencies are different. If you're not committing crimes, they're not necessarily out there looking for you. So this is why very important that we do take the time to acknowledge people, where they're at, where they're from. And this does not mean that we're going to know everything about everyone. Just within my department, we have people from Mexico, Puerto Rico, and we're so different in our own ways. We have different words that have different meanings. So it's important to just acknowledge people, meet them where they are, and to at least show them you care and want to learn about them. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? You can always reach out to us. I know Asha Kiran has my information, my supervisor's information, Angelica's, and well, we have a great partnership with them. And there is also our website that you can visit if you have any additional questions or if you're curious about anything else.
Hi, Anna. I actually have a quick question. Oh, let me get my camera. It's going to turn on. There we go. I actually have a quick question. You mentioned the special visas that are available for victims, and I'm sorry if I missed this, but did you say how long it takes for those visas to be accepted?
So for the U visas, it's about a 15-year process. That doesn't mean that you have to wait 15 years to get like your work permit. That we have seen 4 years, 7 years, and it just depends on when it gets to it. There was a big backlog of everything USCIS during COVID. So I don't know how caught up they are. And it depends also, you know, if you're in New York or Florida, Atlanta, things tend to move a little bit quicker than Alabama. The field office in Alabama is smaller. So it just depends on what's going on. For the VAWA though, so if a US citizen or legal permanent resident committed the crime on a non-US citizen, then that's more of a 3 to 4 year process. You do have to provide more documentation, maybe a little bit harder to provide exactly what you need, and you need to be made a little more diligent with it, but that's a shorter process. So that can help facilitate that for, you know, if they are married to an LPR or dating or somebody of any other, you know, domestic violence crime.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Visas are also shorter.
Does anybody else have any questions? I saw some lovely comments. Anna is wonderful. She's a tremendous asset to our community. One place loves Anna, Megan said. Oh, wow. A lot of fans in the audience. Someone said, someone from the district attorney's office said Anna is definitely a good asset for our office here.
Well,
you know,
it's
Anna,
great,
I used
it's
to
great
live in
partnerships, great partnerships with Megan and Lucy. She has my heart, always has. She works at the DA's office, and again, it's all about these partnerships, and we're all trying to do the same thing, and that is to serve the community, to help them where we can, trying to not repeat services, but just, you know, cheer each other on, help each other out for the betterment of our community.
And I will say I lived in Birmingham for like 7 years, and I've always heard amazing things about HICA and the work y'all do. And I know that you guys have been a huge asset to the community in Birmingham. And it's really cool to see how much you guys do across the state of Alabama too.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.